Hey fitness fans, this is Marco Aigale, the fitness expert in Toledo, Ohio. And I'm new at this, at doing videos and posting them on YouTube. So I'm behind at doing this, but I've been in this business for a long time. So these are some of my first couple early stages of doing videos. I hope I'm even lining it up correctly with me. But one of my little snacks to replace healthy oils is to grab nuts. And often when I say nuts to people, they automatically assume normal peanuts and go to tell me about the health benefits of different kinds of nuts. There are different levels of nutritional values of different nuts. But I worry more about getting a variety in for my fun, enjoyment, and I'm getting my healthy fats from the nuts, which is good enough for me. One thing that you'll learn is I'm not a health extremist, I'm not a health nut, and I'll be doing a lot of dispelling of a lot of myths in this industry, many of which also come from the actual health industry and the extremists and the propagandists and people that are preaching certain things that aren't all true on both ends of the spectrum of the people that make the bad foods and the bad chemicals in them and how they're processed, as well as the health nuts that try to make claims that also aren't true. So anyways, my favorite blend, I love Brazil nuts, and I love cashews, and I love almonds. And so what I did is I grabbed 3 bags. Each of them have no sodium in them because the salt ends up ruining the nice benefit of grabbing your fats without adding in a bunch of salt that can retain a lot of fluid. If you're at 0 sodium, you should up your sodium, maybe 500 to 1,000 milligrams a day, but I don't like to get extra from here because I get salt in from other little things that I add in. So the one thing people need to realize, there's one truth about nuts, and then there's falsehood. So the truth is that these are, I'm getting some glare from the light, these are high fat content foods. So when picking any kind of a nut, realize that they count up as a lot of fat in very small portions. So this is a serving size of 30 grams for each of these bags, and this particular one, the Brazil nuts, at 30 grams is 20 grams of calories from fat. These are 15 grams of fat coming from the 30 gram serving size on each of these. So of course it's going to add up awfully quick of what fats you need from a serving size. So you got to count that, pay attention to it, because you can get fat overeating anything. So overeating peanuts, nuts of any kind, they're high fat. You can overeat in calories and get fat. The part I want to dispel is a lot of health extremists, and of course I'll get controversy because people want to argue and debate, but the vegans, vegetarian industry lead people to believe that all these other foods, all kinds of foods, plant-based foods, are all high protein sources. That's a blatant lie. What it is that the FDA seems to allow companies to put the word protein and show how many grams of protein are in anything. But the problem is these are partial proteins. These shouldn't be called a protein unless all the correct amino acids, essential amino acids, are in there in the food form and at the right ratios. And if they're not, then what ends up happening is you have several amino acids in a healthy food item. That's what should be called on the label, or what I suggest FDA should not even allow companies to state that there's protein in the food. What my personal opinion is that the FDA doesn't want to take out the word protein on all your plant-based foods, because there's actually only, it could be 3 or 4 plus or minus a couple plant-based foods that actually do have a whole protein in it. But it's a small amount compared to what else you get with it, whether it's carbs or fats. It's usually a plethora of carbs that come with that food item, so it's really not worth even calling it a protein food when it's offset by a large amount of something else. But the vegan vegetarian industry keeps trying to sway people into getting away from eating normal, healthy animal meat, good quality protein, to try to think their way of thinking. So they'll tell you just about anything. A lot of stuff they tell you is true, but then they cross the lines, and that's where I come along and state my case about the facts and where there's some lies on the industry. So anyways, this is what I pick for fats on occasion. So what I did is I made a giant bowl. I mixed them all together. So I poured them all together of my personal favorites. So I've got the Brazil nuts, I've got the cashews, and I've got my almonds. So I'm really happy. But of course I can't just sit there and grab handfuls like people will do at home. And so I'm doing this also to make sure people understand that you can very easily overeat these, and you will get fat eating healthy fats. Just like you'd get fat eating healthy sugar straight from plants, like all your fruits are full of sugar, or most of them. I'll get somebody who wants to find one thing and try to, jump on it on a bandwagon to try to argue and debate and stuff. But I don't mean every single one of them, and some of them are very low glycemic, which affect blood sugar minimally, but the majority of them are high sugar, and if you eat too much fruit, you can gain fat, you can spike your blood sugar, so, that's another video. But just want to let you know, good source of healthy fats. If you want an alternative from cooking with oils, extra virgin olive oil is what I like to use. I've sometimes used flaxseed oil. I've used a supplement with my omega-3s, omega-6. My fish oils I've used. So I can mix it up a little bit if I want. This is just one example of another option that you have of a way of getting your fats in. So I hope you found the information simply beneficial, and hopefully it gives you another option, as well as makes you aware of that you can overeat even healthy food. So healthy food doesn't make you fat. Healthy food doesn't make you lose weight. It's how many calories am I overeating or am I undereating? See you next time, health fans.